Hello, hello, hello. Facebook family, 7 p.m., 7:01 p.m., September 13th, 2023. Can you believe it? September 13th. We're almost through September. Next thing you know, October comes. Next thing you know, it's Christmas. Next thing you know, it's the new year. So things are moving fast. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hope you had a great Wednesday. Hope you had a productive Wednesday. Hope that you are looking forward to Thursday. So today we're going to be talking about hugging the cactus. Hugging the cactus is the name of today's topic. Please chime in where you're from, your name. Hopefully, Ann. I see you, Ann. Is Karen with you? Or you by yourself today, Ann? I know Mother Brenda's not with you. I'm not going to say anything about the Aggies right now. I know you guys are going through a sensitive time. I just want to say, Ann, that the Longhorns are 2-0. That's all I just want to say. I just want to make sure. I didn't know if you knew. So I just wanted to let you know. So Karen's in Delaware. All right, tell her we wish her safe travels. Today, we're going to be talking about hugging the cactus. Hugging the cactus. So try to wait till we get a few people on. She said, horns? What horns? I was so tempted, I got to realize this side is a little sign. It's called the Texas Longhorns, just in case. So we might finally have a good year. So, I got to milk this. It might be a while again before we have a good year. So right now I'm super excited. Oh, my parents are on. I wasn't expecting them to come on there in South Padre, enjoying the vacation. It seems like my parents are on a vacation every week. That's what it seems like to me. And then my wife tries to use that like we supposed to be on a vacation every week. So I try to fight that. She says, I've never said that. Yeah, she likes vacations, y'all. So anyway, Tamika's on. Good to see her. Good to see you, Tamika. So just basically, we're going to go through our housekeeping stuff. What is Elevate? Elevate is an acronym. It's also the namesake of the company, but the acronym stands for expectations, leadership, ethics, vision, attitude, temperaments, and effectiveness. And basically, that's a 6-seminar program where we teach basic leadership principles. And we also have a lot of seminars, a lot of different things we can talk about. It matters on what you're looking for. But it's a leadership program birthed from leaders. We are not people that just sit and write, ask questions of people, and then come and teach a class. We're people that are living it. And I've been in leadership for over 30 years. Stories for days. I mean, I can sit here and tell some stories about my dad said, all right, no fighting. You see that? We never fight here. We'll never fight here. So anyway, but I can tell you stories, 30 years of experience, all kind of things has happened and have been great learning experiences. And we want to share things to help somebody get there faster. Our goal is to get you there faster. Char's been as a business analyst and project manager for 10, 11, 12 years. She has her own business, Cupcake and a Smile. This is usually when she types in all her information, just in case you guys are getting hungry. Cupcake and a Smile is I get rave reviews. I mean, I still don't understand it. Everywhere we take these doggone cupcakes or even the cookies or the brownies, people just love them to death. So Cupcake and a Smile has been around for a while. I want to say 10 years. Is Cupcake and a Smile 10 years? Is it 10 years old?
Oh, it's
Kai is 13.
Yeah, it's about 11 now.
It's about 11 years old. So see, Tamika said, yes, great cupcakes. So just wanted to share that. And who is our customer? Our customer is that new leader. This is the person that's just a hustler. They work their butt off, and then they get recognized for their hard work. And then next thing you know, they're asked to be in a supervisory role. But that person, and this is what I'm talking about, our customer is that person that does not, they just work hard. They don't necessarily understand what leadership is all about. They have a bunch of what I call idealistic viewpoints about what leadership is all about. They just want to win. They just want to do well. They just believe in working hard, right? So that's who we're talking to, that group of people right there. It can be Sally Jane, it can be Joe Blow, whatever, but we're speaking to that group of people that are new to this leadership game. And there's things that you need to know if you really want to be effective, because we don't want you to be that person that gets burned out because you tried hard, but you weren't efficient, you weren't effective. So then you say, hey, this ain't for me. It's not that it's not for you. You just didn't try it with the right tools. And we want to give you the correct tools to use so that you can be effective in leadership. So Ann said the cupcakes and a smile is wonderful. So cupcake and a smile. All right. So I know you guys have been sitting at home wondering when the jokes are going to come back. And I actually got the jokes today. So here we are at 7:06. I just say hi to Shar. I won't say Shy. Hi to Shar. And how you doing, Shar?
Right.
So Shar is reading a book. And who's this book from? What's the name of it?
Homies, lovers, and friends. Murders. I don't know.
Homies, lovers, friends, and murder. So I don't know what that's about, but it sounds intriguing. But it's a friend of hers,
Facebook friend.
a Facebook friend that wrote a
Because
book.
we support people who are in small businesses.
So she, because she said we support people that are in small businesses, which is true. So she's reading the book and checking it out. So hopefully it's good, and maybe it's something that if she finds it relevant or finds it something, maybe we can interview the guy. It just matters on what's going on. But I want to go on with the dad jokes. She said, good grief, wow. What's that for?
Who said that?
Ann? What's that for, Ann? So let us know, Ann. But I want to go to these dad jokes real quick. What do you call a seagull that flies over the bay? What do you call a seagull that flies over the bay? Shark? Oh, Shark, your book. Your book, that's what she's saying.
Oh.
That's the title. You know what I'm saying? That title's like, what? What do you call a seagull that flies over the bay? You call it a bagel. You call it a bagel. All right. Well, there's a reason why that was number one, because,
Sure.
Anyway. How do you keep a fool in suspense? Shar. How do you keep a fool in suspense?
Let him believe his lies.
I'll tell you later.
Tell me later what?
How do you keep a fool in suspense? I will tell you later. You get it? I will tell you later. All right. Anyway, and I'm going to give you a bonus joke because I know you guys I'm just crushing it over here. What do you call a cow with no legs? What do you call a cow with no legs? Char, what do you call a cow with no legs? Tamika said, what? And then she said, oh, I got it now. We're only on the fifth joke, Tamika. That's all right. You call a cow with no legs ground beef. What do you call a cow with two legs? Lean beef. See, Ed liked it. You get it? Ground beef, no legs, lean beef, two legs. Anyway, there you go. All right. So there go the jokes. We came back strong, kind of. I think. I get the eyebrow raise with Shar. I get the eyebrow raise. She's like, So anyway, I'll take it. Ann said they're hilarious. I'm on Ann's side. So this topic is such a simple topic, but it's such an important topic. Hugging the cactus. I want to play a small clip, and I mean this clip is super small, but there's no other way to communicate what I want to communicate with you. Or I should say, this is the best way that I know how to communicate what I'm trying to communicate is by playing this clip. So this is something that many of you probably saw. This is years ago. but this is what really inspired me to do this today, called Hugging the Cactus. So I'm going to play this clip, and let me wake my mouse up. And here we go.
I asked Mel to present this award to me for a reason, because when I couldn't get sober, he told me not to give up hope, and he urged me to find my faith. It didn't have to be his or anyone else's, as long as it was rooted in forgiveness. And I couldn't get hired, so he cast me in the lead of a movie that was actually developed for him, and he kept a roof over my head, and most importantly, he said that if I accepted responsibility for my wrongdoings, and if I embraced that part of my soul that was ugly, hugging the cactus, he calls it. He said that if I hugged the cactus long enough, I'd become a man of some humility, and that my life would take on a new meaning. And it worked. All he asked in return was that someday I help the next guy.
Well, that didn't go well. That didn't go well. Robert Downey Jr. is receiving an award. And while he's receiving this award, he's talking about some of his hard times that he went through, right? And he's talking about how Mel Gibson, I know some of you guys probably have an opinion and all that, but it's really not about Mel Gibson. It is about him, and it's not about him. It's about the principles that Mel Gibson is teaching here. And it's also about the thing about hugging the cactus. And he said, what does he mean by hugging the cactus? He says, embracing that part of you that is ugly. Embracing that part of you that is ugly. So that's what we mean by hugging the cactus. You say, well, why are we talking about this in a leadership program? Because most leaders don't do it. They don't do it. I mean, it's just, and when you embrace that part of you that's ugly, that is a big sign of humility. And we're going to talk about humility today. And that's really what it's about. And it's funny because I haven't really talked about this. And, it's always been, kind of like in the background of some of the sessions, or kind of been inferred, but I've never really done anything on humility. And it's so huge. So I just wanted to, I see Ann like this clip. Yes, whatever it takes to turn yourself around. I love this clip because this guy is just talking. Now, of course, there's more to it, and I'm sure a lot of you guys know what's more to it. But at the end of the day, to sit there and be impacted by somebody that really got humbled, life humbled him, and he got to a point where he couldn't even pay his bills. And then a guy that at that time was super successful, I think he's still successful, but at that time had a lot of influence. He took this guy under his wing. He said he gave him a place to stay. He actually fed him. He actually booked him in a role that he was supposed to be booked for. He put him in that role. And then he says, man, if you just first learn how to embrace that ugly part of yourself. And he says, you don't have to be a part of my faith, but be a part of a faith that's rooted in forgiveness. I mean, my goodness. I mean, whose faith would you be in if this is the guy's helping you? I mean, this guy, it's tremendous clip, but the whole take on it is we really got to stay humble, man, and you got to keep doing that. It's not like you can just say today I'm gonna be humble, and then the rest of the time you just do whatever. You're cured. It's something that you got to continually do. You got to continually stay humble. And this clip, and I should say, Hug the Cactus episode 106, and we're talking about this because I said that we have to do this. I see it all the time. And because we're not humble, it affects the way we connect to people. It affects the way we handle people. It affects the way our relationships are. So it's so important that we work on ourselves. And there's this guy named Ram Dass, if I'm pronouncing it right. He said the work we do on ourselves becomes our gift to everyone else. The work we do on ourselves becomes our gift to everyone else. So this concept is very, very important. And I wanted to share a personal story. And I got a few of these, but I'm going to share one where I was humbled. I mean, I was super humbled. I will never forget this. And to you guys hearing it, it might be impactful. I hope it is. It might not. But I can tell you right now, it impacted me in a major way where it changed the whole uh, uh, trajectory of my life. It just changed it. And this was when I was married to my boy's mother. All my kids were with her, and I was broke, and I was comfortable being broke because I had sold myself on the fact that I was going to go to seminary. I had been impacted by somebody that was in my life that impacted me in such a major way that I wanted to do what he did. Go to seminary, learn the word, and just share this good news to everybody. That was my goal. That was my goal. Well, some events happened. The person I was with at that time got attacked by a Rottweiler. The place we were staying was her brother's house, and things weren't good. We had to get her out of there. We get her out of there. I couldn't afford to get her out of there. Jumping up in the middle of the night scared because the dogs are still there that attacked her. The dog attacked her. It was major. We're talking about some TV stuff. I'm talking about running up through the neighborhood, got babies in our hands, a hole the size of a golf ball. You can stick a golf ball in there. The bites on the back of the neck, all kind of stuff. It's an amazing story, really, when you hear the rest of it. But at the end of the day, we had to get out of there. But I had no money because my plan was to be broke and go to seminary. Excuse me. So this guy who had a lot of influence with me, he said, Curtis, man, he says, because I told him I needed to move. He says, I can get you some help. He said, but, you get to really consider what you're going to do to generate enough money to take care of this sister-in-law and these 3 kids of yours and your wife. And I was like, yeah. And I had a career I had earlier with Sonic, and you guys know about that. But I had stepped away from that because my plan was to go to seminary. So anyway, he says, if you have a way to generate money, you need to do that because you got 3 kids, a sister-in-law, and a wife to take care of. So at the time, it crushed me, right? We had to borrow money, and the church took up an offering. And this is talking about the humbling experience right here. So the way he did it, the pastor gave us a bucket. My 3 boys are right there. My wife at the time was right there. My sister-in-law was right there. And we got this bucket. And people are coming around and they're just throwing money in the bucket to help us. And it was the most humbling experience for me because I had this pride that was unhealthy. And I just couldn't see myself holding a bucket. In fact, if I would have known that that's what he was going to do, I would have never said yes to the money probably, So at the end of the day, it was a very humbling experience. And I learned a lot of things while people were dropping that money. One of the things I learned was I had no reason to be so proud. Why would I have that kind of level of pride when I really wasn't accomplishing anything? But in my mind, I had a different perception of myself. Another thing I learned was that I didn't realize how proud I was. Because like I said, I probably wouldn't have stood in that line, even though that line was getting me a way out for my family. I probably wouldn't have stood in that line just because I didn't like the way it looked. Another thing I realized when I was sitting there watching people, and people were putting the money in like I was dying. The look in their face was like, this guy's dying. This family is just in a terrible situation. This is bad. And I was trying to smile like, hey, guys, oh, we all right. Hey. I felt so uncomfortable, right? But I learned the power of community too. And I learned that I really never want to be in that side of the power of community. I'd rather be on the other side, be the one giving on that. But it was a powerful story about being humbled. And one thing about humility, when it hits you, it hits you. Sometimes you don't realize you have pride till you fall. And then now you realize how proud you were. Have you guys had any situations, and I know we're typing, but if you got any situations where you experienced a fall, and it was a fall because of pride, a fall, and you realize that life had just humbled you. Have you ever had a situation like that? If you have, please type in just a couple sentences or so we can kind of get an idea. I know we don't have enough time to really answer. Been there, lost everything. Excuse me. But it was a traumatic event for me. It changed my life. It really did. It really made me look at me, and I think it was one of the few times I looked at me. You know. But what I want to talk about is what really is humility. And this is the part that I wish I can broadcast from the top of buildings, because I feel like humility gets misunderstood. So what most people define as humility is this belittling of yourself, or this self-abasement, or having a low regard of yourself. If you listen to read the dictionary, listen to some computer tell you a definition like we do here, Alexa, what is humility? You know, it defines it that way, like a low regard. You think of humble, like, that posture. But in the Hebrew, there's a distinction between humility and self-abasement. And what you see a lot of times with people is they're acting in self-abasement. They're not really acting in humility. And humility is not low self-regard. Scholars has defined humility as the middle path between self-abasement and pride. So you just picture, you got self-abasement over here, you got pride over here, and then you got humility right there in the middle. It doesn't make it like, oh, what do you need? I'm just little old Curtis. That's not what it is. And when people see it, you have two different, really, you got a love and a hate. You got the guys and the gals that love it. They're so humble. And then you got Alexa is answering you there. Hey, Alex, appreciate it. Or you have the people that are kind of put off by it. Like they don't like to look weak. And the reason I feel like people look, because it's not really what a humility is. Humility is this. It means you are secure enough not to need to be reassured by others. That's humility. You're secure enough in who you are that you don't have to be reassured by others. Humility it means that you can see other people and value them for who they are and what they are. So you're not stuck in you. You can see and value other people, and you're secure and confident in who you are. That's true humility. It's not that, and we're in sales game, right? I'm in a sales game with my team, and I always tell them, sell with authority. Don't sell in humility, because they're not knowing what humility really is. I don't want them coming like the waiter at a restaurant. Do you need more water in your glass? Is there enough ice in your water? Is there anything I can do for you? I don't want them selling like that. I want them to sell with authority, So humility is just, to me, badly defined. We just don't have a good grounding of what humility is. And it's just being that person that's secure in who they are, but they don't devalue other people. That's all. You're secure in who you are, but you don't devalue other people and think that you're more valuable than them. So what is pride, right? We got 5 minutes? I didn't think this would be this long, to be honest with you. What is pride? To me, I'm not going to define it because we all kind of know what it is, but I want to say the number one danger of pride is pride does is it gives you an unrealistic view of yourself. That's the number one danger of pride to me. Number two, pride gives you a foolish sense of wisdom. And Mr. Roundtree, hey, good to see you, Mr. Roundtree. And then pride causes you to think and act foolish because you think you're something else. And this kind of taps into why I really believe the way I do about money, because a lot of times when people go into debt, it gives them a perception to other people of who they are and what they are. And they're really not that, because you borrowed the money to get that look. So that ain't really you, right? So that's my take on that. But at the end of the day, pride is the opposite of humility. So here we are at 7:26 already. So the benefits of humility, they did a 2014 Harvard Business Review. Can you believe it? I do. And they published the results of a survey about what they found about humility. And they said the best leaders are humble leaders. That's what they said. They said the reason why, they gave 4 reasons why the best leaders are humble leaders. Number 1 is that they learn from criticism. Why do they learn? Because they don't see themselves better than others, right? They don't have this false sense of who they are. So they learn from criticism. Number 2, they are confident enough to empower others and to praise others for their contributions. I don't know if anybody out there have worked for people that can't give them any compliment. They can do good at their job, or they can do good to somebody, and the person can never give them a compliment. That's because that person is not humble. They can't give you a compliment. So that number 2 point is huge. Number 3, they I got to read this. They take personal risk. Boy, you saw my handwriting, you'd be like, how does that take? That's what I'm asking myself. How does that word take? They take personal risk for the sake of the greater good. That's number 3. Number 4 is they inspire loyalty and team spirit. You know, and this Shay said hi. Tell her we said hi. And those are the 4 things that you see from humble leaders. 1, they learn from criticism. 2, they're confident enough to empower others and to praise others for their contributions. 3, they take personal risk for the sake of the greater good. And all that is not always money. I had a situation I will share. Let me tell you number 4, and I'll go back to number 3. They inspire loyalty and strong team spirit. So I had a situation, and I'll close it with this. And what I mean by number 3, they take personal risk for the sake of the greater good. So I had a guy, we're in a meeting, right? And we have this thing that goes on with the teams. There's 2 teams in Houston, and we had a bad period. So what they'll do to me, since I'm the new AVP, they'll put me with the other AVP in his team. And basically the other team gets to beat up on us a little bit. They call it coaching, but really it's beat up, right? And one of the guys in that room, his son works with me. He's on the other team, but his son works with me. We're not even talking about anything. It's a quiet time in the meeting. And then out of the blue, the guy says, Curtis, I can never work for you. And at that point, pride pops up, right? I'm like, where is this coming from? What do you mean? I was offended, but I stopped and I looked at the eyes of everybody in that room, and I saw they wanted something that was not going to be helpful to this team. So that was one of those situations where I just kept my mouth shut, and all I told them, I said, well, that's unfortunate, but that's motivation for me. That's what I told them. I said, that's motivation. And I addressed it with my core leaders on my team, and all of them said the same thing. They felt like he said that just because I've been hard on his son, and they feel like the father is kind of protective of his son. I hadn't really been hard on the son, but that's what they said, you know, because we had some issues with his son, and he's carrying that. And this stuff is from months ago. But when you say something like that in a team setting, it can be devastating. So at the end of the day, I know it's 7:30. Humility is huge. Hugging the cactus is a great way. I mean, think about it. That's a great visual. And just being humble and making sure you humble yourself. And there's so many tie-ins to the scripture. We would do this all day, every day, if we wanted to tie this into scripture. But the most dangerous thing in life to me is pride, because pride can go a lot of different ways. And then it's so important to understand what true humility is. It's not being this person that's timid. It's not being this person that wants to whatever you need. No. That ain't humility. Humility that says, you know what, I got value, and I don't see myself greater than you. But at the same time, I value your opinion, but I'm I believe in who I am as a person. I believe in that I can take what you say and add it or not add it. I am secure in who I am. That is humility. So I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. It's 7:31. I don't want to hold you up on your Wednesday. I wanted to share with y'all my Elevate shirts. I got a couple of these. I'm trying to get Char one because she criticized me for not getting her one. I'm going to get her a pink one because she likes pink. So be intentional, focus on growth, and elevate now. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for coming on. Really appreciate you. Alex said, need one. You got to buy one, Alex. Tamika says she loves the shirt. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.